Alright, so this is the interior inspection. When you're getting in, you're going to use 3 points of contact. Do not face away from the truck getting out or in. That is an automatic fail. While you're getting in, mention your fire extinguisher. My fire extinguisher is properly mounted and secured. It is not bent, cracked, or broken. And it is a type BC fire extinguisher. Now it's properly mounted and secured. And it is properly charged. Now you're going to finish getting in. Alright, so the first thing you do when you get in is your seat belt. My seat belt is properly mounted and secured. There is no cuts, tears, or frays. It latches and unlatches properly and is adjusted to my preference. And at this point, you would get yourself situated with the steering wheel. And then my windows are properly and securely mounted. They're not bent, cracked, or broken and have no chips. And they're clean and clear and free of any illegal stickers. My mirrors are properly and securely mounted. They are not bent, cracked, or broken. They are free of any illegal stickers. And they are clean and clear and adjusted to my preference. My windshield is properly and securely mounted. It is not bent, cracked, or broken, doesn't have any chips. It's clean and clear, free of any illegal stickers. And at this point, we're going to do our safe start. To do a safe start, you'll put the key in from pre-trip, turn it on. My ABS light comes on and goes off, indicating there's no malfunction with the ABS system. Now I'm going to hold the clutch pedal down, make sure it's in neutral. Slowly come up off the clutch. Now that it's running, we're going to be building up air pressure to governor cutoff between 120 to 130 psi. While that's going on, we're going to finish our interior inspection. So, at this point also, your gauges will be up to temperature because we have already driven to Livingston, or there's already been a test right before yours, so everything will be up to temperature by that time. So we've already done our windows and we've done our mirrors. Now my windshield wipers are properly and securely mounted. They're not bent, cracked, or broken. My windshield wiper blades are properly and securely mounted. They are not bent, cracked, or broken, and they do not have any abrasions, bulges, or cuts. And there's no tears in the blades more than 1 inch. My windshield washer fluid sprays onto the windshield, cleaning it, and is working properly. Now we're going to move on to our indicator lights. My left turn indicator works properly. My right turn indicator works properly. My high beam works properly. And my 4-way flashers work properly. My city horn works and my air horn works. My engine oil temperature is reading 100 degrees. That is working properly. My DEF gauge is reading just under a full tank. That's enough to do this test and it is working properly. My water temperature is reading 140 degrees and climbing. It is working properly. My oil pressure is showing just above 60 psi, working properly. My tachometer is reading 600 RPMs at an idle, and it is working properly. My miles per hour, or my speedometer, will check during the service brake portion of the air brake test. My voltmeter is reading 14 volts. It is working properly. My fuel gauge is reading 1/8 of a tank, which is enough to do this test, and it is working properly. My primary and secondary air tanks are both reading 120 psi and are working properly. My air applied gauge comes off of 0 and is working properly. And then at this point, you would also turn it all the way to heat, wide open, and to defrost and feet. Once you have all those maxed all the way out, you'll put your hand up here and say, I can feel my defroster blowing heat onto the windshield, and the heater is blowing heat onto me and is working properly. And especially if it's during the summertime, turn it all the way back to cold and all the way back to air conditioning, because you don't want to have a heat stroke in the middle of your test, because we have 110 degree heat. Alright, so we've done our defroster, our gauges, all of our windows. Now let's do the rest of our safety items. We've already covered the fire extinguisher getting in. My 3 reflective triangles are in that box. They are proper mount secured and not bent, cracked, or broken. My spare fuses are here. Now, The governor just cut off on letting us know that we have built up maximum air pressure. At this point, we're going to be doing our air brake test. Right now, it's going to be done a little bit different because we don't have a trailer on the truck currently, but you will follow these steps. Now that we've built up maximum air pressure, we're going to turn the truck to the off position, turn the key back to the on position. My ABS light comes on and goes off, indicating there's no malfunction in the ABS. We're going to put it in gear. Now that it's in gear, we're going to release both brakes. So you push both of them in. You're going to wait for your gauges to equalize. Once it quit hissing, that pretty much means it's equalized. So now that our pressure's equalized, we're going to start our applied leak down test. Our applied leak down test is where we're going to hold our foot on the brake pedal for 1 minute, and we should not lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute. And this is how you will word the entire air brake test to the examiner. Now that my gauges have equalized, we are now going to start our applied leak down test. I'm going to hold the brakes, the service brakes, for 1 minute, and we should not lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute. Will you time me? And at this point, she'll say yes, and she'll start timing you as soon as you put your foot on the brake. When you put your foot on the brake pedal, you want to raise this air applied gauge kind of where the needle's in between the number 0, which is, it's off of 0, but the number that's on it, you just kind of want to put the needle in between it, and that's going to be the perfect amount of air pressure to put to the brake chambers for that test, so it's easier to hold a steady pedal doing that. So you're going to hold this for 1 minute. And for the sake of the video, we're going to say that's 1 minute. Now you'll say, during that 1 minute, we did not lose more than 4 psi, which means I do not have any severe leaks, and I was listening for audible leaks and did not hear any. Now I'm going to pump my brake pedal until my air pressure drops between 55 to 65 psi, which at that point, my low air pressure warning lights and buzzer should come on. Alright, so my low air pressure warning lights and buzzer came on both of my primary and secondary air tanks at 60 and 65 psi. Now I'm going to continue to pump my brake pedal down until my trailer air supply and my tractor parking brake pop out on their own. Now keep in mind, in this video I do not have this pushed in, but on the test you will have this pushed in. And the knobs should pop out on their own between 20 to 40 psi. My trailer air supply popped out at 30 psi. And my tractor parking brake popped out at 25 psi. Now I'm going to take it out of gear since the brakes are set, and we're going to do a safe start and build our air pressure back up to governor cutoff between 120 to 130 psi. During this portion, you can ask them if you can get out to remove your wheel chocks if they have you chock the wheels, and then you will also idle it up to build up air pressure a little bit faster. don't panic. Also, when that secondary air pressure gauge builds up to 90 psi first, and then it'll stop, and then the primary will build up to 90. Once they both get to 90, they'll build together all the way to governor cutoff. Almost to full pressure. Alright, I believe I heard the governor cut off at 125 psi. Now I'm going to begin my tug test. At this point, I'm going to release my trailer brakes and leave my tractor brakes out, and I'm going to put it in low gear. You'll come up off the clutch just ever so slightly until you feel the truck pull a little bit, then you'll push the clutch back down. Then you will pop the trailer brakes back out and release the tractor brakes. And then you'll do the same thing. Pull up until you feel a tug at the truck. Alright, so my trailer brakes are holding properly and my tractor brakes are holding properly. Now we're going to test our service brakes, and you'll push in both of them. Put it in second gear, and then you will ease up at 5 miles an hour. Hit the clutch and then hit the brake. Alright, neutral. You pop your brakes back out. My service brakes are working properly. They brought us to a stop. My steering wheel did not pull to the left or right, indicating the brakes are not out of adjustment. My speedometer read 5 miles an hour, and it's working properly. This concludes my air brake test, and this concludes my pre-trip. That's the one time you can say that one sentence. You can say the bad words. You can say done, finished, completed, over with, anything like that. That's when you can say it, because you are now done with your pre-trip. And that concludes it.